The next morning, Leo awoke to the soft light of the twin suns streaming through the tall windows of his room in the palace. The walls shimmered gently, reflecting colors that seemed impossible to name. He rubbed his eyes and sat up, still amazed that he was in a place so different from Earth. The air smelled fresh, with a hint of flowers he could not identify. He dressed quickly and stepped out into the hallway, eager to begin his first full day in this alien world. Amira was waiting for him in a grand hall at the center of the palace. She stood near a window, looking out at the floating city below. Her hair shimmered in the sunlight, and the flowing robe she wore seemed to change colors as she moved. When she noticed Leo, she turned and smiled faintly. "Good morning, Leo," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Today you will begin to learn about my world. But first you must understand that nothing here is as it seems. The rules are different. The creatures, the land, and even the air have their own ways. You must pay attention." Leo nodded, his curiosity stronger than ever. "I understand, Princess. I am ready." Amira gestured for him to follow. They walked through corridors that seemed to stretch farther than the palace should allow. The walls were alive with glowing patterns that shifted slowly, forming shapes of animals and landscapes. Small creatures floated along the halls, watching Leo with bright eyes. Some were playful, bouncing in the air and leaving trails of light behind them. "This world is beautiful," Leo said quietly, amazed by the moving colors and living patterns. "Yes," Amira replied, "but beauty is only one part of it. You must learn to see beyond what is easy to notice. There are truths hidden here that only the observant can find. Humans have a spark that allows them to adapt quickly. I want to see if you have that spark." Leo felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He did not know exactly what she meant, but he knew he had to try. They reached a large balcony that overlooked the city. Floating platforms stretched out in every direction, connected by bridges made of light. The rivers below glowed with soft colors, and creatures of many shapes and sizes moved along the streets. Some floated in the air, some walked on land, and others seemed to swim through glowing water that hung above the ground. "Look at the people and creatures of our city," Amira said. "They live in harmony, but they also face challenges. You will see that humans often have qualities we admire. Curiosity, creativity, and courage can change everything." Leo watched closely. He noticed that some of the creatures were struggling with small tasks like carrying objects or moving between platforms. Others seemed lost or confused. He felt a sudden urge to help, just as he would on Earth. Amira noticed his gaze and raised an eyebrow. "Ah, you already feel the need to act. That is a good sign. Humans often act with thought and heart. Watch carefully. You may need these qualities soon." Before Leo could respond, a small commotion appeared on one of the floating platforms below. A group of creatures, small and round with glowing fur, were trying to move a heavy object across a bridge of light. The bridge swayed under their weight and the creatures looked anxious. "Do you want to help?" Amira asked, her eyes twinkling. Leo nodded. "Yes, I think I can." Amira waved her hand, and a platform descended to the street level, allowing Leo to reach the creatures safely. He approached carefully, speaking softly to calm them. The creatures looked at him with wide eyes, as if sensing he meant no harm. "Together, we can move this," Leo said, pointing to the heavy object. "If we work step by step, it will be easier." He instructed the creatures to push from different sides while he guided them. Slowly, the object began to move across the bridge. Leo adjusted the balance, making sure the weight was spread evenly. The creatures followed his directions, and step by step, they succeeded. When the object reached its destination safely, the creatures made small chirping sounds of joy and gratitude. Leo smiled, feeling proud. Amira watched from above. "You see, Leo? That was human ingenuity combined with kindness. You used your mind and your heart. This is the spark I spoke of." Leo felt a warm glow inside. He had done something useful, even in a world so strange. For the first time, he felt a small sense of belonging. After the success, Amira led him back to the palace. Now you must learn about our history, she said. Our people have lived on this world for thousands of years. We have knowledge, but humans often have a different kind of wisdom. Your kind is able to solve problems in ways we cannot predict. That is why your presence here is important. They entered a room filled with glowing books and holographic images. The walls displayed scenes of the planet's history. Floating images showed ancient cities, great scientists, explorers, and inventors. Leo watched in awe as the world's story unfolded around him. Humans are admired for creativity and courage, Amira explained. You do not always have the most advanced technology, but your spirit allows you to accomplish extraordinary things. We want to learn from you, Leo, and perhaps you will learn from us. Leo nodded, understanding the importance of his role. He felt a responsibility he had never experienced before. He was not just a visitor, he was a representative of his species, carrying the potential to show the best of humanity. After a while, Amira led him to a training garden. The garden floated in the sky with platforms surrounded by glowing water. Strange plants grew everywhere, some of them moving slightly as if alive. Creatures of various sizes wandered among the plants, curious but gentle. In this garden, Amira said, you will learn more than from any book. Observation, creativity, and patience are just as important as knowledge. You must adapt, Leo, because challenges will come. Not all are as simple as helping creatures cross a bridge. Leo explored the garden carefully. He observed how the plants responded to touch and how creatures interacted with the environment. He realized that even small changes could have big effects. A misplaced step could disturb the balance of life here. Amira watched quietly. You see, humans often notice what others do not. That awareness can make the difference between success and failure. Remember this, Leo. Observation is a powerful tool. As the day passed, Leo began to understand more about the world. He learned to recognize patterns in the movements of the creatures, the growth of the plants, and even the flow of light across the floating platforms. He was amazed at how everything was connected. In the evening, they returned to the palace. The twin suns had set, and the sky glowed with soft colors. The city lights sparkled below, and the rivers of glowing water reflected the beauty of the world. Amira turned to him. You have done well today, Leo. You helped creatures, observed carefully, and began to understand our ways. That is the first step in proving the human spark I have heard about. But your journey is only beginning. Tomorrow, you will see more of our world and face challenges that will test your mind and heart. Leo felt both excitement and nervousness. He wanted to see everything, to learn everything, but he also understood that this world would not be easy. There would be obstacles, mysteries, and perhaps dangers. Yet he felt a determination stronger than ever. I am ready, Princess, he said. I want to learn and do my best. Amira nodded. Good. Curiosity and courage are important. Never lose them, Leo. Humans have a unique ability to adapt, to solve problems, and to inspire. That is why your presence here matters. One day you may show us what humans can truly achieve. That night, as Leo lay in bed, he thought about the creatures he had helped and the lessons he had learned. He realized that even in a world so different from Earth, human qualities could make a real difference. He felt pride, hope, and a sense of purpose he had never known before. He looked out the window at the glowing city below. This world was beautiful, strange, and full of challenges. But he felt ready. Tomorrow would bring new experiences, and he would face them with courage, curiosity, and determination. And deep inside, Leo felt a spark that connected him not only to this alien world, but also to the human qualities that had brought him here. He was beginning to understand why humans were special, and he knew that this was only the first step of an extraordinary journey. Leo had always been curious. Even as a child, he had wandered through forests, climbed hills, and taken apart machines just to see how they worked. Now, as a young engineer in the city, he spent most of his days designing tools and machines. But something about the old research facility on the outskirts of town had caught his attention. The building had been abandoned for decades, yet rumors said it once held experiments far beyond normal science. He approached the facility cautiously. The gate creaked as he pushed it open and dust swirled in the sunlight. The building was larger than he expected, with tall windows covered in grime and broken doors hanging on rusted hinges. Leo's heart raced with excitement. He had come here to explore, to find something no one else had seen. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of metal and old paper. The hallways were wide and lined with strange devices covered in cloth. Most of them were broken or rusted, but one machine at the center of a large room glowed faintly. It was a circular device with a strange blue light pulsing at its center. Leo felt drawn to it. This must be it, he whispered to himself. This is what everyone talks about. He stepped closer and studied the machine. It had buttons, levers, and screens, but none of them seemed to work. The light in the center continued to pulse rhythmically. Without thinking, Leo reached out and touched the blue glow. Suddenly, a strong pull gripped him. The floor seemed to disappear beneath his feet. The world spun in a whirlwind of colors. Leo felt his body lifting, twisting and stretching as though he were being pulled through water made of light. He tried to hold on to something solid, but there was nothing. Then everything stopped. Leo opened his eyes and found himself lying on soft grass. He sat up quickly, looking around. The sky was not blue, but a mixture of pink and gold, with two suns shining above. The trees around him glowed faintly, and the leaves were shaped like crystal. Small creatures with wings that shimmered like glass flew past him. He felt a mix of fear and awe. This is not Earth, Leo said softly. He stood up and walked forward, trying to understand where he was. The grass beneath his feet was soft and warm. Strange flowers opened and closed as he passed. In the distance, he saw mountains that floated in the sky, defying gravity. Rivers of glowing water ran between them, shining like liquid diamonds. Leo had never seen anything like it. As he walked, he noticed that the air carried a soft hum, almost like music. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. The sound made him feel calm but alert. He realized that this world, though beautiful, could also be dangerous. After some time, he saw a palace in the distance. It was enormous, built from a material that shone like silver. Towers twisted toward the sky and light seemed to flow along the walls like liquid. Leo's curiosity pushed him forward. He had no idea who lived there or what he might find, but he felt that he needed to know. When he reached the palace gates, they opened as if sensing his presence. Inside, the halls were wide and bright. The walls were covered in glowing patterns that moved slowly, changing shapes like flowing water. Leo walked carefully, listening to the echoes of his footsteps. Suddenly, a voice spoke. It was soft but firm, and it seemed to come from everywhere at once. Who are you, Earthling, and why have you come to our world? Leo froze. From the end of the hall, a figure appeared. She walked gracefully, her presence commanding yet calm. Her hair glowed faintly and her eyes were like pools of light. She wore a flowing robe that shimmered with colors he could not name. Leo realized she was not human, yet she had an air of intelligence and kindness. I'm Leo, he said carefully. I didn't mean to come here. I was exploring and I found a machine. I didn't know it would take me here. The figure studied him for a moment. I am Princess Amira, she said. You have passed through the portal, a door that only opens for those who are curious, brave, and unusual. You cannot leave yet, not until I understand why humans are so unique. Leo's heart sank. You mean I'm trapped? You are not trapped, Amira said calmly. You are a guest, but you cannot return home until I learn about your world and your kind. Humans are rare. You have a spark that even our most advanced scholars cannot explain. Leo swallowed hard. He wanted to argue, to insist that he just wanted to go home, but he could feel the truth in her words. This world was extraordinary, and perhaps there was a reason he had been brought here. Amira gestured for him to follow. Come, I will show you our world. You may learn something, and perhaps I will learn something about you as well. Leo followed her through the palace. They passed halls filled with moving light, rooms that seemed to float in space, and gardens where flowers changed colors when touched. Every step amazed him. He realized that even though he had studied machines and science all his life, this world had rules and wonders beyond his imagination. Outside the palace, Amira led him to a balcony overlooking the city. Buildings floated on platforms of light. People moved gracefully, some walking, some floating. Creatures of all shapes and sizes moved among them, clearly intelligent and at ease. Leo could see bridges made of light connecting the floating islands, and rivers of glowing water winding through the city like veins. This is incredible, Leo said. Unable to hide his excitement, Amira smiled faintly. It is our home, but it is also a test. You will need to learn, adapt, and understand if you hope to return to your world. Humans are clever, Leo, but you must prove it to us. Leo nodded, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. I will try my best. Amira studied him closely as if trying to see the truth behind his eyes. Your best may be enough. Humans are strong in ways we cannot measure, but strength is not just in the body. It is in the mind, the heart, and the courage to face the unknown. Leo felt a strange warmth at her words. For the first time since he arrived, he felt that maybe being here was not just an accident. Maybe this world had chosen him for a reason. As night fell, the sky turned deep purple, and the two suns disappeared below the horizon. Stars appeared, not like the stars of Earth, but larger and brighter, moving slowly in patterns that made no sense to Leo's eyes. The city glowed beneath them, lights reflecting in the rivers and floating islands. Amira turned to him. Tonight you will rest in our palace. Tomorrow your journey begins. You will see our world, meet its people, and face challenges that will show the true nature of humans. Are you ready for this, Leo? Leo hesitated, then nodded firmly. Yes, Princess. I am ready. Amira's smile widened slightly. Good. For tomorrow you will learn that even the smallest act of curiosity can lead to wonders beyond your imagination. And perhaps, Leo, you will discover that your world is not the only place where humans can shine. Leo felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He did not know what awaited him, but he knew one thing for certain. This world was unlike anything he had ever seen, and he had a chance to show that humans truly were special. That night, as he lay in a soft bed that seemed to float above the palace floor, Leo thought about his life on Earth, the city streets, his small apartment, and even the old research facility now seemed distant. Here, in a world of light, color, and unimaginable possibilities, Leo felt a spark of hope. He had been chosen for a reason, and he would not waste this chance. Outside, the glowing rivers reflected the twin moons, and the hum of the world continued, gentle and constant. Leo closed his eyes and allowed himself to dream of what tomorrow would bring. He did not know what challenges he would face, but he was ready to meet them, and somewhere deep inside, Leo felt a small thrill. This was only the beginning. The adventure of a lifetime had just begun, and he was determined to shine in a world that had never seen a human before. The morning sun painted the sky in soft shades of gold and pink. Leo stretched and prepared for the day ahead, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Today, Princess Amira had told him he would begin his journey across her world. Unlike yesterday when he had mostly observed, today he would face challenges that would test his mind and heart. When he arrived at the grand hall, Amira was already waiting. She wore a robe of shifting light that shimmered with every color Leo could see. Her hair floated slightly as if touched by the wind, though the air in the hall was still. Good morning, Leo, she said. Today you will leave the palace and explore the world. You will encounter creatures, plants, and situations that will require thought, patience, and courage. Are you ready to begin? Leo nodded. Yes, Princess. I am ready. Amira led him to a platform that hovered high above the city. The platform extended outward, glowing softly beneath their feet. As they moved, the city below seemed to stretch endlessly, filled with floating islands, bridges of light, and rivers that glowed like liquid crystal. This world is alive, Leo, Amira said. It has rules that are not always visible. You will need to observe carefully, think creatively, and act wisely. Humans often succeed in ways that our people cannot predict. I hope to see that spark in you. They descended to one of the floating islands. The island was covered with tall crystal trees whose leaves shimmered in every color of the spectrum. Small creatures with translucent wings flitted between the branches, while larger animals, gentle and curious, moved along the glowing paths. Amira gestured to a group of creatures gathered near a glowing pond. See those creatures? They need your help. A section of their habitat has become unstable. You must find a way to restore balance so they can continue safely. Leo approached cautiously. The creatures looked at him with bright eyes, clearly nervous. He studied the situation. A part of the land had cracked, and the water from the pond was beginning to spill over the edge. The creatures could not move the large stones blocking the repair, and the glowing plants nearby were being damaged. He knelt and examined the stones. We need to lift these carefully one by one and guide the water back into the pond, he said softly. He thought quickly, remembering lessons from Earth about leverage and balance. Using sticks and long vines that grew nearby, he created simple levers to move the stones. The creatures watched and followed his instructions. Step by step, they lifted each stone and restored the land to its proper place. The water flowed back into the pond, sparkling in the sunlight, and the glowing plants returned to their natural form. The creatures chirped and hummed in joy. Leo felt a surge of pride. He had used his human skills, logic, creativity, and careful observation to solve a problem no one else could have managed so quickly. Amira watched silently from a distance. When the task was complete, she approached. "Well done, Leo," she said. "You did not rely on force or speed. You relied on thought, patience, and understanding. That is the human spark I spoke of. Few can see the world in the way you do." Leo smiled, feeling a mixture of pride and relief. "Thank you, Princess. I only did what I thought was best." Amira's eyes softened. "And that is exactly why humans are admired. You act with reason and heart together. That balance is rare in our world." They continued their journey, moving across the floating islands. Each location presented a new challenge. On one island, Leo helped a group of creatures navigate a maze of shifting paths. He observed the patterns and taught the creatures to recognize safe routes. On another, he used floating leaves and vines to transport glowing seeds to a new garden. Each task required him to think creatively, act patiently, and care for the living beings around him. As they traveled, Leo began to notice patterns in the world. The bridges of light responded to touch and intention. Some plants changed shape depending on movement nearby. Even the creatures seemed to communicate not only with sound, but with small gestures of light and color. Leo realized that understanding this world required more than just observation. It required empathy, imagination, and adaptability, qualities that humans possess naturally. By mid-afternoon, they reached a valley filled with tall, glowing crystals. The crystals hummed softly, vibrating in harmony with the world around them. Some were cracked and unstable, threatening to fall and harm the creatures living nearby. Amira turned to Leo. "Here is your next challenge. You must stabilize these crystals without damaging them. Our people have studied them for centuries, but humans often find solutions where we see only risk." Leo studied the crystals carefully. He noticed that each one had a natural vibration that could be balanced with careful placement of smaller stones and reflective surfaces. Using his knowledge of mechanics and observation, he arranged the materials in a way that distributed weight evenly and allowed the crystals to resonate safely. The large crystals stopped trembling, and the valley returned to a calm harmony. Leo stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. He had never faced such a challenge on Earth, yet he felt a deep satisfaction in solving it. Amira smiled. "You see, Leo, your mind works differently. You notice connections, think in multiple ways, and find balance where others see only chaos. That is the essence of humans. That is why your species is admired across the stars." Leo felt a sense of wonder. He had always known that humans could be clever, but hearing it from someone who lived in a world so different made him feel proud and inspired. As they moved to the next area, Amira explained more about her people. "Our world values knowledge, harmony, and creativity, but we often rely too much on what is known. Humans bring a spark of unpredictability, a way to adapt and solve problems that we cannot always foresee. That is why your presence here matters, Leo. You are more than a visitor. You are a teacher, a guide, and perhaps even a friend." Leo listened carefully, feeling honored. He had never imagined that one day he would be considered a teacher in a world so distant from his own, yet the thought made him determined to do his best. Later, they reached a forest of glowing vines. The vines moved slowly, reacting to sound and touch. Some creatures had become trapped in the dense growth, unable to escape. Leo carefully untangled the vines, using both his hands and small tools he found nearby. He guided the creatures to safety, taking care not to harm the plants. When the task was complete, Amira approached again. "Today you have learned more than observation. You have learned empathy, patience, and creativity in action. Humans do not only think, they feel, they care, and they act. That is why your kind is exceptional." Leo felt a warmth in his chest. He realized that this world, with all its beauty and complexity, had challenges that required more than strength or skill. It required heart, And humans, in their own way, had a unique combination of both. As evening approached, Amira led Leo to a quiet hill overlooking the city. The twin suns were setting, casting long shadows across the floating islands. Rivers of glowing water reflected the light, creating patterns that looked like fire and gold. "You have done well today, Leo," Amira said. "You have shown courage, intelligence, and compassion. That is why humans are admired. Your kind has the ability to inspire, to solve problems, and to bring balance where it is needed." Leo looked at the city below. He thought of the creatures he had helped, the crystals he had balanced, and the vines he had untangled. He felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. "Thank you, Princess. I only tried to do what was right," Amira smiled. "And that is enough. You have proven that humans are remarkable, not just for their knowledge, but for their heart. Remember this, Leo. Your journey has only begun. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, and I hope you will continue to show the spark that makes your species special." Leo nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and determination. He realized that this world, though strange and unfamiliar, had already taught him important lessons. He had learned to observe, to think creatively, and to care deeply. And in doing so, he had begun to understand why humans were considered extraordinary. As night fell, Leo lay in his bed, gazing out at the glowing city below. The hum of the world continued softly, a constant reminder of life and energy all around him. He thought about the challenges he had faced and the lessons he had learned. He knew that tomorrow would bring more tests, more opportunities to show the human spark, but for now he allowed himself a moment of peace. He felt proud, inspired, and ready for whatever came next. He was no longer just a visitor. He was a participant in this world, and he would do his best to honor the trust that Princess Amira had placed in him. And deep inside, Leo felt the spark of humanity burning brighter than ever. In a world so different, so beautiful, and so challenging, he knew that humans could shine in ways that no one could predict. That spark would guide him through the days to come, helping him learn, grow, and make a difference in a world that had welcomed him with curiosity and wonder. The morning light spilled across the palace halls, casting warm reflections on the glowing walls. Leo stretched and prepared for the day with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Today, Princess Amira had told him, he would face a challenge unlike any before. This test would not only measure his intelligence but also his courage and heart. When he arrived in the grand hall, Amira was already waiting. She stood with her usual calm grace, her eyes bright and focused. Her robe shimmered softly, reflecting the colors of the rising sun. "Leo," she said, her voice gentle but firm, "today you will face a challenge that tests more than skill or knowledge. You will face a situation that requires courage, empathy, and careful thinking. Are you ready to begin?" Leo nodded. "Yes, Princess. I will do my best." Amira led him to a large platform that floated above a vast valley. The valley was filled with glowing plants, streams of shimmering water, and clusters of strange creatures moving carefully among the terrain. At first, everything seemed calm, but Amira pointed toward a distant part of the valley. "There," she said, "a group of creatures is trapped in an area where the land has shifted. It is unstable and dangerous. You must find a way to rescue them safely." Leo's heart beat faster. He had helped creatures before, but this task looked more difficult. The terrain was uneven, and glowing rocks shifted unpredictably. Some of the creatures were frightened and moving too quickly, risking injury. "Stay calm," Amira said. "Observe carefully. Humans are clever and resourceful. You can succeed if you use your mind and heart together." Leo took a deep breath and began walking toward the trapped creatures. He studied the area, noticing the cracks in the glowing earth and the way the streams of water flowed. He realized that rushing could cause the ground to collapse, so he needed a careful plan. He spotted vines hanging from nearby glowing trees and long, flexible branches that could be used as supports. Using the vines, he created simple bridges and supports to stabilize the ground. He instructed the creatures to follow his directions, moving slowly and carefully, step by step. They made progress. Leo guided the creatures over the bridges he had made and helped them navigate unstable areas. When one creature slipped, he reached out and caught it just in time, setting it down safely. The creatures chirped and hummed, sensing his care and patience. As they neared the end of the unstable area, Leo noticed a larger problem. A glowing rock blocked the path, too heavy for the creatures to move. He looked around and found long branches and a flexible vine. Using these as levers, he carefully lifted the rock and rolled it to the side, clearing the path. The creatures rushed safely to the stable ground beyond. Leo felt a surge of relief and pride. He had faced a dangerous situation, stayed calm, and used his skills and heart to solve the problem. Amira approached, her expression both serious and pleased. "You have done well, Leo. You did not act recklessly. You observed, planned, and cared for those in need. That is the essence of the human spark. Your kind has a way of combining intelligence and empathy that is rare in the universe." Leo smiled, feeling proud. "Thank you, Princess. I only tried to do what was right." Amira nodded. "And that is why humans are extraordinary. Your actions today have proven that courage is not just about facing danger. It is about thinking carefully, acting wisely, and caring for others. You have shown all of these qualities." They continued through the valley, and Amira explained more about her world. "Our people have knowledge and skill, but sometimes we lack the unpredictability and creativity that humans bring. Your kind can solve problems in ways we cannot imagine. That is why you're important here, Leo. You have shown that humans are more than strong or clever. You are adaptable, thoughtful, and kind." Leo listened carefully, absorbing every word. He realized that this world, though beautiful and advanced, could learn from him just as much as he could learn from it. That thought filled him with determination. He wanted to do his best, not only for himself but also for the creatures and people who had welcomed him. As they walked, they encountered another challenge. A large group of glowing seeds had been scattered across a series of floating platforms. The seeds were vital to the survival of a nearby garden, but they were drifting toward the edge of the platforms. If they fell, the garden would lose its plants. Leo studied the situation. He noticed the pattern of the platforms and the movement of the wind which carried the seeds. He quickly gathered long, flexible branches and created a simple tool to catch and guide the seeds back to safety. Carefully, he worked platform by platform using patience and precision. The creatures watched, learning from his actions. By the end of the task, all the seeds were safely returned. The garden would thrive thanks to his efforts. Leo felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Each challenge he faced showed him that humans could make a difference, even in a world so different from Earth. Amira observed him with a thoughtful expression. "Leo, you are beginning to understand the true strength of humans. It is not just intelligence, skill, or courage alone. It is the combination of all these qualities with empathy and patience. That is the spark that sets your kind apart. You inspire hope and balance in ways that are rare." Leo felt a warmth in his chest. He had always known humans could be clever, but hearing it from someone from another world, someone so powerful and wise, made him realize the importance of what he represented. As the day progressed, they moved to a quiet grove filled with towering crystal trees. The crystals emitted a soft hum, resonating with the world around them. Some crystals were damaged and threatened the creatures living nearby. Amira turned to him. "Here is your final task for today. You must repair the crystals and ensure that the grove remains safe. Your actions will show if the human spark is truly strong." Leo approached carefully. He studied the crystals, noticing the vibrations and the points of weakness. Using reflective surfaces and smaller supporting crystals he found nearby, he carefully balanced the damaged areas. He worked slowly and deliberately, making sure not to harm the living creatures nearby. The grove gradually stabilized, and the hum of the crystals returned to a harmonious tone. The creatures moved freely among the trees once more, safe and calm. Leo stepped back, feeling a sense of pride and satisfaction. Amira smiled, her eyes shining with admiration. "Leo, today you have faced challenges that required more than strength or skill. You have used thought, heart, and courage to make a difference. You have proven the human spark that I have been seeking. Few humans could accomplish what you have done, and yet you succeeded with patience and care." Leo felt humbled by her words. "Thank you, Princess. I only tried to do what I could. I did not know it would matter so much." Amira placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "It matters because humans have the ability to act with heart, courage, and intelligence at the same time. You have reminded us that even in a world full of knowledge and technology, there is something unique about humanity that cannot be measured. You have inspired hope and balance today, Leo. That is why you are remarkable." As the sun began to set, casting warm colors across the floating islands, Amira led Leo to a quiet hill overlooking the valley. The rivers below reflected the light, and the creatures moved peacefully among the plants and glowing paths. "You have done well today, Leo," Amira said softly. "Your courage, intelligence, and heart have proven that humans are extraordinary. Remember this feeling. It will guide you in the days ahead. Tomorrow will bring new experiences and perhaps new challenges. But you have shown that humans can shine in ways no other species can." Leo looked out at the valley, thinking of all the creatures he had helped and the problems he had solved. He realized that even in a world so different from Earth, human qualities could make a real difference. He felt pride, inspiration, and a strong sense of purpose. As night fell, Leo lay in his bed looking out at the glowing city below. The hum of life continued softly, a reminder that the world was alive and full of energy. He thought about the challenges he had faced and the lessons he had learned. He knew that tomorrow would bring more opportunities to show the human spark, and he felt ready to face them. Deep inside, Leo felt the spark of humanity burning brighter than ever. In a world of beauty, complexity, and challenge, he realized that humans could shine in ways no one could predict. That spark would guide him through the days to come, helping him think, act, and care. He had faced fear, solved problems, and helped others. He had proven that humans were not just clever or strong, but thoughtful, brave, and kind. That realization gave him confidence and determination. No matter what challenges awaited, Leo knew that the human spark would help him succeed. And as he drifted to sleep, he felt ready for anything. The adventure was far from over, but he was no longer just a visitor. He was a part of this world, and his actions had shown that humans could make a difference even on a distant planet filled with wonders beyond imagination. The twin suns rose slowly, painting the sky with soft shades of gold and pink. Leo stood on the palace balcony, feeling the cool morning air against his skin. The world below shimmered with glowing rivers, floating islands, and creatures moving gracefully through the light. He had explored much of this alien world, helped its creatures, and learned lessons that had changed him. Yet today, he knew, he would face a decision that could alter the rest of his life. Princess Amira appeared beside him, her presence calm and radiant. Her robe shifted with the sunlight, reflecting colors that seemed to dance in harmony with the world around them. She looked at Leo with a mixture of pride and contemplation. "Leo," she said softly, "you have proven yourself in ways that few humans could. You have shown courage, intelligence, empathy, and creativity. You have faced challenges that tested not only your mind but your heart. You have reminded us why humans are extraordinary." Leo felt a warmth inside him at her words. "Thank you, Princess." "I only tried to do my best." Amira nodded, her gaze turning toward the horizon. "Your presence here has inspired hope. You have helped creatures, stabilized lands, and shared your perspective. You have become part of this world in ways we never imagined. But now comes the choice. You may return to your home on Earth, or you may stay here as an ambassador for your species. Your actions have shown that humans can shine, and that spark could benefit both our worlds." Leo's heart raced. He had thought about returning home every day since he arrived. He missed Earth, his family, his city, and the simple life he had known. Yet he also felt a deep connection to this world, to its creatures, and to Princess Amira, who had shown him kindness, guidance, and respect. The decision was not easy. I don't know what to do," Leo admitted honestly. "I want to go home, but I also feel like I have a role here. I don't want to leave everything I've learned behind." Amira placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "Leo, the choice is yours. There is no wrong decision. Your heart will guide you. Humans have a unique ability to adapt and inspire. Whatever you choose, you will continue to shine." Leo took a deep breath and looked down at the glowing rivers and floating islands. He thought about the creatures he had helped, the crystals he had balanced, and the seeds he had guided to safety. He thought about the lessons he had learned about courage, empathy, and intelligence. He realized that being human meant having the ability to care, to create, and to make a difference wherever one goes. After a moment, he spoke. "Princess, I want to return home, but I want to stay connected to this world. I want to share what I have learned here with humans and continue to inspire cooperation between our worlds." Amira's eyes brightened with a mixture of pride and understanding. "That is wise, Leo. Humans often find ways to bridge worlds without losing themselves. You can return home, and yet your presence here will continue to influence and inspire. I will open a stable portal so you may go freely, knowing that our worlds remain connected." Leo felt relief and gratitude. He had made his choice, and it honored both his home and the lessons he had learned here. Amira led him to a chamber filled with glowing symbols and floating platforms. At the center was a circular device similar to the one that had brought him here, but more advanced and stable. "This portal will take you home," Amira explained. "It will remain open, so you may travel between worlds if you choose. Your presence on Earth will carry the spark of humanity that you have shown here. And you will continue to inspire hope, just as you have inspired it here." Leo nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and sadness. He had grown to love this world, its beauty and its creatures. He had also grown to respect and admire Princess Amira, who had guided him with wisdom and patience. He knew that leaving would not be easy, but he also knew that this experience had changed him forever. Before stepping into the portal, he turned to Amira. "Thank you for everything. You have shown me that humans can make a difference even in worlds far beyond our own. I will never forget this place or what I have learned here." Amira smiled, her eyes shining. "And I will never forget you, Leo. You have reminded us that courage, creativity, and compassion are gifts that transcend worlds. Go with our blessings, and may your spark continue to shine brightly." Leo stepped onto the platform, feeling the gentle hum of the portal beneath his feet. The light surrounded him, warm and comforting. He took a deep breath and thought of Earth, of the life he loved, and of the future he could shape with the lessons he had learned here. As the portal activated, he felt a gentle pull, lifting him from the platform. The world around him swirled in colors of gold, pink, and blue. He felt a mixture of excitement, hope, and nostalgia. He would return home, but he carried with him the knowledge that humans could inspire even the most distant worlds. When Leo opened his eyes, he was back in the abandoned research facility on Earth. The familiar smell of metal and old paper filled his senses. The glowing device he had touched weeks ago now lay silent, still and ordinary. He took a deep breath, feeling the ground beneath his feet and the air around him. Everything seemed both familiar and different. He knew that he had changed. He had faced challenges, helped creatures, and learned lessons that would guide him for the rest of his life. He had proven that humans had a spark that could shine across worlds, and he felt a deep sense of pride. Leo stepped outside, feeling the warmth of the Earth sun on his face. The city looked ordinary, but he knew that he carried extraordinary knowledge and experience. He thought of the creatures he had helped, the floating islands and Princess Amira. He smiled, knowing that their connection would remain, even across the distance. Over the following days, Leo began to apply the lessons he had learned. He shared stories of creativity, empathy, and problem-solving with his friends and colleagues. He encouraged people to think differently, to act with courage, and to care for others. Slowly, he saw changes. People began to notice small details, to help one another, and to work together in ways they had not before. Leo realized that the spark he had carried from the alien world was spreading. Humans could inspire hope, solve problems, and make a difference wherever they went. He felt proud and determined to continue sharing these lessons, knowing that even small actions could have a big impact. At night, he often thought of Princess Amira and the glowing world he had left behind. He knew that he could return through the stable portal whenever he wished, but he also understood that his journey on Earth was far from over. He had a role to play here, just as he had a role on that distant planet. One evening, as he gazed at the stars, he felt a soft warmth in his heart. He imagined the glowing rivers, floating islands, and creatures he had helped. He imagined Princess Amira watching over her world with wisdom and grace. And he realized that the human spark, the combination of courage, creativity, and compassion, was not limited to Earth or any one world. It was a gift that could shine anywhere. Leo knew that his life had changed forever. He had seen the extraordinary face challenges and learned lessons that would guide him always. He understood that humans were capable of greatness, and he felt a deep sense of responsibility to share that with others. As he prepared for sleep, he whispered quietly to himself, "I will carry the spark. I will shine. I will make a difference." And somewhere, far across the stars, Princess Amira looked toward Earth, sensing the same determination and light. She smiled, knowing that the human spark would continue to inspire, connect, and create harmony between worlds. Leo's adventure had come to a close, but the journey of humanity had only just begun. He had learned that even in the most distant, mysterious places, humans could make a difference. He had discovered that courage, empathy, and creativity could shine across worlds. And he had realized that no matter where he went, he carried the spark of humanity within him, ready to illuminate the path ahead. The portal had brought him to her world, and she had shown him wonders beyond imagination. Now back on Earth, Leo carried those lessons with him, ready to face any challenge and inspire others with the light he had discovered. The human spark, rare and brilliant, would continue to shine, bridging worlds and hearts across the universe. And so, Leo stepped into his new life with confidence, hope, and a deep understanding of the extraordinary power of being human.